It's the Prez Week 17 NFL, hardest week to handicap in the world, but I'm in Mexico enjoying the sun, my amazing female, and a lot of margaritas. No, mojitos. I don't even know what I order.
Mojitos in Mexico, that's not a thing. But anyway, I am freezing my ass off. I'm in Northern Illinois for Christmas. As you can tell, the lovely lake house, woodboard paneling behind me.
What the hell's in Northern Illinois? I thought you were a Kansas girl.
I am a Kansas girl, but I have some family up here, so we decided to come visit. And we're going to go to the Blackhawks game, maybe hit the Bulls game tonight. So lots of fun stuff to do in Chicago, you know. So
Okay, well, enjoy the cold and the wind.
Here I am.
And listeners, we might have sound issues today. I did not bring my mic. I'm in a hotel room. Kelly is probably in some bunker based on those walls. So just bear with us. And we're going to race through this. This is going to be a quick video. Frankly, because I don't have a whole lot of opinions today. But I do want to quickly apologize for the scary Ralph from last week's video. I didn't realize, Kel, that when we taped Ralph in the last 5-minute segment, that they would insert him for the entire video. So I don't know if you watched the video, but he basically just stood there like this for the whole video.
No way. I never watch our videos. I just read the comments. So that makes it hilarious. And also, poor Ralph, he was probably like, what the hell?
Okay, we're on a delay. It's okay. We're going to do this show, and next week will be perfect. But understand, it is the holidays. We're both on holidays. I want to wish everyone an amazing New Year's Eve. Awesome bowl betting. Be careful in Week 17 NFL betting. And Kelly and I will be ready next week for the wild card games. I had a great week last week, Kel. I went 4-1 in betting. I won my 10th out of 14 5-unit NFL plays on the season on the under in the San Diego game. And the only reason I didn't sweep the board was that San Fran didn't cover. Not that I bet against the Bears. No. I actually bet on San Fran. They just coincidentally happened to be playing the Bears. I'm actually scared of the Bears fans. Like, I feel like I'm going to wake up with a bear in my bed, like just the head.
That's really funny. No, don't be scared of Bears fans. Everybody I'm up here with is Bears fans, and nobody here hates you. They have to understand. We're betting numbers, not teams. I, too, went 4-1. My loser was on the Saints. Not so pretty, but I did win a teaser. So we'll take it. The only chalk I laid is...
I want a teaser too. Wow, Kel, you're having major sound problems, but it's okay.
That's not a good news.
We'll get through it. The bottom line is, as you know, all the listeners are here to listen to me and look at you, so it works out perfectly.
All right, let's try this. Now, how's this mic?
Oh, let's just do the show and
not better
and move on.
Okay, all right, Dallas at the Giants. Giants kind of looked good against the Colts last week. Now, 6-point favorites. Why? Because Dallas is going to wrestle. Moral total 41.5.
Yeah, you know, let me start by saying this, Kel. This is counterintuitive week. It's a week where you've got to be really careful. You have a lot of coaches coming out and saying that they're going to rest players, but we don't know how long they're going to rest them for. You know, is Zeke going to play the whole game, none of the game, the first half? You know, some of these teams don't want to back into the playoffs without momentum. You know, a team like the Los Angeles Rams, I think they play everybody, and I think they want to, you know, they won last week against Arizona, but they had a couple of bad weeks, and their offense isn't really ticking. And, you know, I think they want to move into the playoffs on a high note. You know, I think Dallas wants to win this football game. You know, I think Jason Garrett is going to play to win this game. I like Dallas here at plus the 6, but I like under 41.5. And I know I said it's counterintuitive week, and you know a lot of these unders like a Miami Buffalo where teams have nothing to play for. They're going to go for it more on fourth down. But, Dallas's defense is really, really good. They're good at stopping the run. The New York Giants have nothing left to give this season. They want to get on a plane and get the hell out of Dodge. I'm gonna lean on Dallas, but my real thought here is under 41.5.
All right, Oakland at Kansas City. Kansas City, 2 touchdown favorites, total 54. I don't have a big opinion on this one. Oakland has been making me some money ever since the last time these two played. For some reason, they've been playing really scrappy against divisional opponents. And I got to still ride with them here. I think if you want to give me 2 touchdowns with Oakland, Kansas City has a lot more to play for, but we've seen as of late, Kansas City's been getting shut down.
Yeah, and here's an interesting scenario where, look, Kansas City has to win this game, assuming the Chargers beat Denver, or they go from the 1st to the 5th seed, which is a gigantic move. The problem here is they could go up real quick in this game, but I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas. I think Oakland's going to come to play. We saw it last week. We've seen, Oakland sort of turn their season around a little bit in the last 6 weeks. They do have 4 wins on the season, and I think we're going to get their best game. But I think Kansas City's going to keep their foot on the gas. They're not good. This Denver-LA Chargers game might be a very close game. Both defenses are going to come to play. And, I think the Denver-LA Chargers game is going to go under the total, which will keep it close, which means Kansas City won't know if the Chargers have won until towards the midway through the 4th quarter. So I think the bet here is Kansas City, and I do like over the total. Look, Oakland's defense is a total disaster, but their offense has been moving the ball of late. I know 53.5 is a big number, but I lean on the favorite and the over.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on the over there. You hit the nail on the head saying that Kansas City's got to keep their foot on the gas. So even if Oakland has a shot to cover, they're going to have to do so with offense on their side as well. Okay, Carolina. They had such a good thing going and then just crashed and burned. Now 9-point dogs at the Saints, total 45.
Yeah, and their quarterback last week didn't look bad, Kel. You've got another scenario here where, what are the Saints going to do? Are they going to play, or is it Teddy Bridgewater time? Look, the Rams are going to win, but I think New Orleans has home field advantage wrapped up. I can't bet New Orleans at -9 in this football game. Where I actually like this game, believe it or not, is on over the total. I think no matter who plays at quarterback, if Teddy Bridgewater plays, I think they're going to want to see what he has, and they're going to put the ball in the air. And I think Carolina's defense, for however good they are, they just want to go home. It's go home week. So I don't think Kelce and the band are going to sacrifice their bodies as much as they normally would. I lean on Carolina here, Kel, but over 44.5, regardless of who's playing quarterback, in New Orleans, in the Dome, that's the play.
So it looks like New England's locked up the 2nd seed. 13.5 is the line over the Jets, total 45. We know the Jets typically play the Patriots stuff. The Jets really don't have much to play for, but this is a pretty large number for this rivalry. And we saw it last week with the Bills. I was on the Bills.
Yeah, well, and they haven't. New England hasn't wrapped the 2nd seed up. They have to win. We've got to assume Houston's going to beat Jacksonville. So New England has to win this game. Are they going to win this game? Absolutely. And I don't think they're going to sit any of their big guns. I think, with them winning and getting the bye, I think teams that get the bye, like New Orleans, like New England, Kansas City, potentially the Rams, they're going to be out of sync if they rest a lot of their big players and have a bye and literally come back, 3 weeks without their guys on the field. So I think we're going to get New England's best effort here. I think they want to win the game, and I think they want to beat the Jets because it's a division team. I'm not going to take New England minus 13.5. It's too big a number, but we actually have seen a passing game out of the New York Jets of late. Darnold is playing pretty well. He played well against Houston. He played well last week. He is moving the ball. Robbie Anderson, their wide receiver, is a hell of a find. So I'm going to go on over the total of 45 here. I think we're going to see New England get out early, get up early. I like New England on the under normally, but I think the Jets are going to come out and literally throw the kitchen sink at New England, especially with Bulls on the hot seat. It would be impossible to fire the guy if they beat New England in this game.
Also very true. Okay, a game I kind of like. Philly laying 7 at Washington, total 42. Now I kind of lean towards the Skins here for a couple different factors. One, we know that their stock is really low. They've dropped 5 of their last 6, but they did get the cover for me against the Titans. Philly actually needs Chicago to beat the Vikings this week to get them a chance at the NFC wild card. So whatever happens in Minneapolis is interesting. But this has been a very low variance Eagles team. And Nick Foles having another miracle last week to keep them alive. It's really interesting. Skins are still playing hard for Jay Gruden. And I like what I've seen from Josh Johnson. This is their chance to get a win over a divisional rival at home. I'm going to take the points. You want to give me almost a touchdown with the Skins here? I think that's the right side.
Yeah, the problem here, Kel, is that Chicago is going into Minnesota, and Minnesota is literally in must-win mode. So even if Chicago wins that game, it's coming down to the final drive. Philadelphia is going to be playing their hearts out from the beginning to the end. And I think Washington comes to play, and I think they want to win this game. But I think at some point in this game, they throw in the towel, especially from a defensive perspective. I can't count on Washington to play 100% the whole way through. So although I like or lean on Washington at plus 6.5, they can't have my money in this football game. I think the bet here is on under the total, but I'm not going to touch this game at all, Kel. Too much is riding on a game that's at the same time. I mean, Minnesota goes up big early. You're going to see, Nick Foles and that Philadelphia team play the game of their life. Chicago goes up big early, and they're just going to lose all their will. There's too many variables in play. I'm staying away from the Philly-Washington game.
All right, a team that how I lost. Prez, I'm going to tell you about my worst beat. So obviously I was at the game with Johnny and Bobby. I had a great time. Detroit's up 9-0. I turned to my right and I said, Bobby, there's 2 minutes left. 98.5% chance I win this first half bet, catching 3.5. And he laughs and he goes, well, Matthew Stafford is our quarterback. Sure as shit, I lose my first half bet with 2 minutes left, 14-9 in the halftime spread, halftime, and I was like, well, it's time to go to the bar. One of the worst beats I've ever had, so I'm kind of mad at this.
You've had way worse, Kelly. You've had way worse beats than that. That's not really a bad beat. Come on, Kel. I've just gone through 7 weeks of hell.
2 minutes
with blocked punts and touchbacks. Don't even go there, Kel. Matthew Stafford throwing an interception.
Touchback.
But
Okay,
listen,
well,
the problem for me was I was actually waiting on Minnesota to go into the half down because I pounded Indianapolis second half last week, my biggest bet of the week, and I was all ready to pound on Minnesota second half, and that late touchdown ruined the value for me.
Yeah, well, you could have still done it, and it would have cashed us.
It would have, but
Detroit just laid down after that.
I agreed, but I wanted the value.
All right, well, now they're 8-point dogs. They go into an angry Green Bay Packers team, which neither one of these teams cares probably about this game, but there's no way that I'm laying 8 or taking 8 in this game.
This is a total stay-away game. If anything, I would take the over, but I can't touch this game. I think Detroit is going to come in here. I think a lot of the road teams that are out of it are tough to play this week. I think they literally just want to get on an airplane and get the hell home, start their off season. So if anything, I would take the Pack here. I think the Pack are going to win the game. I think the Pack have more to play for than Detroit. Granted, neither of them have anything to play for, but I think at least Aaron Rodgers and the Pack are a prouder bunch and would like to win the last game of the season. But what do I know? I don't live in their heads. I can't go near this game.
I agree. Completely stay away from this monstrosity in the NFC North. All right, Jacksonville at Houston. Jacksonville, we got Blake Bortles back in Jacksonville now. And they actually won a game. Now they're 7-point dogs at Houston, total 40.5. I think probably the Texans are going to remember when Jacksonville ran up the score on them last year without Deshaun Watson. Maybe, maybe not. But here's a chance for Jacksonville just to put on a nice offensive show against a Jacksonville team who's just cashed it in.
Yeah, but, what does Houston have to play for? Look, I grant you if they win and New England loses, they get the bye. But, I don't see New England losing this game, and I think New England can be up early enough in this game. At least with New England playing the Jets, it might remain close. So we will get all of Houston's starters. But Houston could literally just pull everybody in the fourth quarter. With that said, I'll take you at quarterback before I take the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm getting a number under a touchdown here. I think this is one of the best bets on the board. I'm going to take Houston minus the 6.5 and call it a day.
All right. Let's move on to Cleveland, Baltimore. Here's a spot where there's a little bit of something to play for if you're Cleveland because, well, they've been doing it for weeks now. Something to prove. They need a team over 500. Actually, they already have they? No, they're 7 or 8 wins. 7 wins, I think. So, Baker Mayfield's kind of rejuvenated this team, kind of rejuvenated the city. And they already beat Baltimore once this year. Granted, that was with Joe Flacco and kind of a weird scenario, I believe, in overtime. But now Baltimore kind of cruising in front, first place now in the AFC North. Why? Because the Steelers lost at New Orleans. So your thoughts on this one, Prez?
I think this is the most interesting game on the entire card. Indy and Tennessee is obviously the game. These two teams, potentially one of them gets in. So there's nothing better than the Indy-Tennessee game, and no team has more to play for than Indy and Tennessee. With that said, I think Cleveland is going to bring it all. This is literally the Super Bowl of Super Bowls for this Browns team. They are in position to be over 500 on the season. But it's not only that, Kelly. This team wants to make a statement. This team wants to say, next year, we own this division, and we will own this division for the next 10 years. Flacco is out. Big Ben is almost retired. Pittsburgh's defense doesn't look good. Baltimore can't move the ball offensively. This is our division to own, and it starts right here, right now, and we're going to knock the Ravens out of the playoffs. This Cleveland is going to bring everything in this football game. This will be the best game we have seen Cleveland play in a decade, which says nothing. I grant you that. I don't know if that means they're going to win the game, but this game is going to be super close, Kelly, and I am not going to take a Baltimore team who, I grant you, their defense, oh my God, did they look incredible last week? They bottled up the Chargers. The Chargers couldn't run, but throwing. It's such a shame the camera angle focuses on where the quarterback is all the time, and we really don't see the coverage downfield. But Phillip Rivers, he never threw the ball. So one could logically assume, without the camera downfield, that his receivers were covered. So I'm going out on a limb and saying that Baltimore's secondary last week put on a ridiculous performance. With that said, I can't count on this team to score. And it's too big a number. Cleveland's going to bring it all. This game is going down to the final drive. Does Baltimore cover that final drive? I say unlikely, Kel. I'm on Cleveland in this game. A team with no playoff hopes against a team that literally has to win this football game. I'm taking the Browns.
I like it. All right, a game. I have a feeling neither one of us will have an opinion on Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Atlanta opened a 2-point favorite. Now Tampa Bay 1-point favorite. I'm not going to watch this game. I don't have an opinion on this game, and I don't know where the motivation is going to come from either side.
I'd be surprised if they came out of the tunnel in the second half, Kel. I think, we'll pan to them. They'll be drinking alcohol upstairs in the bar. Both of these teams had, with Tampa Bay's beginning, they beat New Orleans week 1. Fitzmagic, they were rolling, all this high hopes, phenomenal offense in Atlanta. Coleman, Freeman, Jones, Ridley, Ryan, their defense that got completely annihilated by the injury bug. There are no, other than Jacksonville, there are no two teams that want to go home faster than these two teams. I don't have a total and I don't have a side.
Okay, perfect. Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo 3.5-point favorite. Total 39. This is really a low total, but as we saw last week with Tennessee, it was a low total for a reason. Do you think that that's the case here?
I think this game's going to go over, Kel. We spoke a little bit about counterintuitiveness this week, and here's your perfect example of two teams with literally nothing to play for. But with that said, I think Buffalo wants to keep moving Josh Allen around. They want to keep him throwing the ball. I think Miami needs to find out what they have in Ryan Tannehill. I don't see a lot of running in this football game. I think this will be an aerial attack. It's just a matter of, can these mediocre quarterbacks complete an aerial attack? I like this game to go over, Kellen. I like Buffalo. I mean, talk about a situation here where Miami was in it, lost last week. After they beat New England, they were sky high. Then they lost, and now they're going to frigid Buffalo. Like as cold as it gets, not a bar in sight. I mean, women don't even live in Buffalo. It's too cold for them. Half this team will be flying home midway through the game, Kelly. I would not want to be if I was Ryan Tannehill, I would literally be saying to the offensive coordinator and the coach, don't play me. Let me just sit over there with a Parker on, by the heater, and just get this game over with. There can't be anything worse than being Detroit and going to Green Bay and have to play outside in the frigid mess. But nothing is colder and more miserable than Buffalo.
I agree with you. All right, you mentioned you thought this game was going to be really exciting. Indianapolis 3-point favorites at Tennessee, total 44. I don't lay road chalk. It's been a rule of mine for a while, but man, the Colts, nice win, comeback win against the Giants. I kind of like the Colts. You're going to be surprised as like my outside sleeper pick to win the Super Bowl. Just 30-1. Why not throw $100 on it and see if we can get us maybe, to the AFC Championship game?
Look, you want me to make an argument for both teams? I can. That's ultimately the problem with this game. We know Indianapolis has a better offense, a more diversified offense. I mean, Marlon Mack is running the ball really well. Hines coming out of the backfield is catching the ball well. T.Y. Hilton, is stretching the field well. Andrew Luck is putting up Drew Brees type numbers. Their defense is playing great. Audrey, their linebackers are moving. They're very fast and very young. Everything tells you that Indianapolis is going to be able to win this football game except for one problem. They might never get the ball. This Tennessee, this has got the New York Giants versus the Buffalo Bills from way back when written all over it. Or the whoever beat the Rams. I think New England Patriots beat the Rams, greatest show on turf in their second Super Bowl. Tennessee is going to run, then they're going to run, and then when it's 3rd and 9, they're going to run. And when the quarterback fades back into the pocket to throw the ball, he's going to remember, run. I would be surprised if Tennessee throws the ball more than 15 times in this game. Indianapolis needs to stop that run, which is really hard given what Henry has been doing of late. And that's where the problem lies. If Tennessee can convert first downs, if you can be disciplined and say to yourself, we've got 3 downs to get 10 yards. That's 4-4-2, 2-4-4, 4-2-4. Run the ball every single down. Pick up 3.5 yards every down. Never stop. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. If they can remain disciplined and shove that ball down Indy's throat, Indy's defense is going to become super tired. Indy's offense will never get into rhythm. This is where the problem lies in the football game. And conversely, it could go under because Tennessee could run the ball down Indy's throat and literally have 2-1 time possession, or Indy can stop the run, get the ball back, and this game will go over. I don't have a clue what to do. I want Indy to win the game because I have Marlon Mack as one of my running backs in fantasy, and my fantasy league actually goes into the playoffs. So I have nobody on Tennessee.
That's awesome.
So I want Indy to win the game. And people want to bet for me in this game. I know they do. If you can find, Tennessee running over 25 times as a prop, take it. Like any running prop with Tennessee, take it. Just take it. Because we don't even know who's the starting quarterback in Tennessee, and I don't even think it bloody well matters.
I don't think it matters either.
So, yeah.
All right, let's move on.
I don't know. What a game. I mean, this game is going to be so great to watch and such a perfect matchup of power versus finesse. Ooh. I'd like to see Tennessee play Baltimore.
Ooh. Yeah, that could be a good one as well. All right, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, 48 is what this one opened up. Now it's down to 48.5. Somebody here likes the under. Now 14.5 point favorites in Pittsburgh. Listen, Cincinnati got it done for me with the hallelujah backdoor cover last week, and I will take that from them all day. I don't think they have that in them twice in a week. And so I'm leaning towards the Steelers here, but I don't lay over 2 touchdowns. That's just ridiculous. It's a lot of points.
Kel, like if the Steelers win and Baltimore loses, the Steelers are in, right?
Yeah.
Cleveland's going to play this Baltimore team really close all game long. I said it at the beginning of the show. I think the Steelers are going to come out, and I think they're going to absolutely throttle the Bengals. I cannot see this game being close. I think the play here is on over the total. I think you're going to get 10 points out of the Bengals. But I think Pittsburgh is just going to lay the smackdown. Now, I don't take minus 14.5. It's because the back door at the end of the game is just too big. And if Baltimore is up by 2 touchdowns going into the 4th, Pittsburgh's just going to give up. Call it a day. I can't bet the Bengals here. I think the play here is on the over, but I really wouldn't be surprised if this is a 35-10, 40-7 blowout. I mean, I think this has got the biggest score written, the biggest point differential written all over it.
I agree with you. Okay. Talking about Minnesota, we talked about a little bit about this one earlier. Minnesota 4-point favorite, 4.5, and a lot of spots here in Vegas. Total 40.5. As I mentioned last week, of course, because I tweeted Kirk Cousins is really not good or something obnoxiously drunk like that, because he's not. Then he throws those 2 touchdowns late to kill my first half cover. But Coach Zimmer, Minnesota, really good against the spread in Minnesota. But this Chicago team, as you mentioned, still has a little bit to play for. But I don't think the Saints are going to lose. Now, granted, have we seen teams go into San Fran and lose as of late? Yes. So it's really kind of tough. Go back and forth on this one, but I'm kind of leaning towards the Bears.
I think -4 is slightly too high too, Kel. I think the Bears are going to keep this game close, and I think the Bears have stuff to play for regardless of their seeding, really. I think this is a team that's going to the playoffs for the first time in a while with a very young group. And I think Nagy wants to bring this team in on a high. I think that we're going to get the best effort out of Chicago from start to finish. So I, too, agree with you. Chicago is likely to play here, which begs you to bet everything on Minnesota. Because you and I have been fading Chicago and been wrong all year. So now we're going to pick Chicago. I would bet the house.
All year. I won the Rams game.
That's true. You know, I like under in this game, Kel. You know, I think Chicago struggles to score like they did against San Francisco. I think Minnesota's defense is going to come to play, and I think Chicago's defense with Baltimore are 1 and 2 in the league. So I like under 40.5 points, and I do lean on Chicago, and I think this is going to be a very exciting game. And these two teams might find themselves playing against each other next week.
Very true. All right, LA Chargers going to Denver. 6.5-point favorites on the road at Mile High, total 41.5. You know I like the Broncos here because I'm an idiot, but it's just too many points in this divisional game. I think we're going to see Denver play a tough game against the Chargers, and I know you're very high on the Chargers.
I am, but it's not even that. And you know the thing is, Kel, there's a real likely chance that Kansas City gets up super quick, 21-3 in the first quarter, and the Chargers call it a day. I think the problem here lies in the fact that Vance Joseph's a disaster. And
he has been all season. He's lost 2 wins at least.
And I think the players know it. And I think the best thing that Denver can do is go out there and lay an egg. I don't think they want this guy back. I don't think Elway wants him back. I think everybody in Denver is looking for a reason to get rid of Vance Joseph. And I just don't think Denver comes to play. I think
he's already gone. I don't know if it matters.
Sorry, say that again?
Okay, let's talk about. Yep. No, I said I don't think it matters. I think he's already gone. Whether they win this game or not.
I think he's gone too. But I think the players are just done. Like I think Denver is done. Like they're like, you know, we have 1 chip left. It's early in the tournament. We're just going to leave it on the table and head to another game.
Okay, that's fair. All right, Arizona at Seattle. Seattle 13.5-point favorites. Total 39. This is a lot of points. There's no way I'm backing the Cardinals here. Speaking of cashing it in, this team is done. This team is just gotten beat up for a majority of the season. And I know the whole world's going to want to be on Seattle, so I'm not going to be joining them, but I just don't think I can take the points here.
Well, I can't take Arizona, and I will never take Seattle minus close to 2 touchdowns because, and we've spoken about this all year, Seattle plays to their competition. You know, we saw it last week when they went out and put up 38, 40, 50 points against Kansas City. Then we saw it the week before where they put up nothing against San Fran. Whatever you do, Seattle does just a little bit better. So, I mean, Arizona can go out and score 3 on the whole game, and Seattle will win by a safety, and it'll be a 5-3 game. That's who Seattle is. With that said, I like over the total here, Kel. Larry Fitzgerald's last game, I feel like Arizona's going to throw the ball all game long. I feel like they're going to go for it on 4th down all game long. I think their coach would love nothing more than a small miracle and beat the Seahawks here. So I'm actually going to play over the total on counterintuitive week 17.
All right, San Fran. This will be well, actually, no, not doing the night game. This will be the last afternoon game. San Fran, 9.5, 10 in some spots at LA, total 49. I bet San Fran there a couple of weeks, and I was so close to playing them against the Bears, and I did not. I did
play them against the Bears. It was my only loss, and it was a loss because of a deflected interception. You know, you look at the end of the game there, and had the wide receiver have caught the ball and not deflected it directly into the hands of Chicago, you know, I think San Fran covers. But look, here's the bottom line, Kel. I think the Rams come to play. We've already heard that Todd Gurley, if feeling good, is going to play. I think Jared Goff is going to play the whole game. With that said, this San Fran team, I have been riding the under for weeks now, and I am not stopping. Like, this defense on who are they, Kel? Name one guy in the front seven on San Fran.
I can't.
Exactly. And yet, you can't run against them. You can't throw against them. This San Fran D is looking so good. This team could be deadly next year. Tough division.
I was just thinking I'm going to bet their season win total over next season.
Well, you got to be careful, Kel. They still have Seattle and the Rams in their division. We do need to look a little bit more closely to which division they're going to be playing in the AFC next year before we can make that assessment, because I don't think San Fran's ready to jump the Rams or Seattle. I think they're a couple of years away from that, whereas I think Cleveland is right there for the next year. But I think this San Fran team's going to surprise a lot of people next year. I think they're playing amazing football. This Kittle tight end, my God. And Nick Mullins? I mean,
he's going to be a great backup to Jimmy Garoppolo. And now they have, a couple of backs. They're going to get Jerick McKinnon back, and we know Matt Breida is great. So unless they end up trading someone,
they need wide receivers.
Life's pretty good if you're a Niners fan.
They need a couple of wide receivers, and if they could get a type of a Tyreek Hill, a long bomb, a stretch wide receiver, man, that is going to make Kittle the best tight end in football, because right now he's getting double teamed and still breaking records. Next year, when they have a stretch wide receiver and it opens the slot up, oh my. But I'll tell you, man, Nick Mullins, so impressive for a guy nobody had ever heard of. I'm playing the under in this game, Kel. 49 is too big a number. I know I said the Rams are going to come out to play, but the bottom line here, Kel, is New Orleans could just run the just put that game out of hand by halftime, leaving the Rams with, okay, they have something to play for. They got Chicago on their heels, but I can't see this game going over. It's too big a number for a team, a game that San Fran is involved in.
Absolutely. All right, Prez, I hope you enjoy Mexico while I'm here freezing, and you get to work on the can while I'm super pale.
Okay, and listeners, I'm not going to be able to look and comment on everybody, and I do apologize for that. But I want to thank you all. 2018 has been an incredible year at WagerTalk, a real catalyst year. We've become literally the largest handicapping network on YouTube, and there's no end in sight. The exponential growth now is really going to take us to the moon. That first 5,000 subscribers are hard to get, Kel. The next 5,000 are easier than the first 5. And it gets easier and easier as word of mouth spreads. We're at 18,000 subscribers. All our videos on a weekly basis, your videos that you do in the studio, my Morning Joe, my hockey videos, we are getting over 100,000 views a week. The next number is 1 million views a week. And I'm telling you guys, it is going to be easier to get from 100,000 to 1 million than it was from 0 to 100,000. We are run by the most talented marketer on the planet, Johnny Detroit. Marco and I are so lucky to have him and lucky to have you. But most importantly, we're lucky to have the listeners, because I know that we're getting 18,000 listeners a week and only 300 comments, which is a small fraction. But the comments, the posters are the same guys all the time. Superman and Craig and the guy with the Boston Bruins logo, and the same names over and over again. These people are part of our family now. So I'm so thrilled. And even the haters, we love the haters. I can't thank everybody enough. 2018 was magnificent. 2019 will be better. Puck Time will be back on Tuesday. Same with Morning Joe. Carmine is in studio next week doing the Championship League preview, which is going to be huge. So make sure to watch that. Guys, have a happy new year. Kill it. Be with your loved ones. Enjoy. Namaste. We're done. 2018 in the bag.
Okay, are we shooting up to